Alrighty, so welcome back. Haven't done anything with the cars in like a month. Been working on some other stuff. I've been gone so long I feel like I should introduce myself. So my name is Kevin Hart, and today I'm going to start working on the intercooler and radiator setup for the Volvo here. And this is a Vortec 4200 inline 6 out of a 2007 Envoy, and it's a 1983 Volvo station wagon. I'll show you what I've been working on, but first I'll show you this. So right now, I'm just using the multimeter to show temperature in the garage. It's 58 in the garage, and I do have the heater running. This is just my furnace heat coming from the house. So that's how I heat the garage for the winter and make it not so cold in here. So this is actually in the backyard now, and I have this door that opens up to a big greenhouse. So yeah, this is what I've been working on for like the last 3 to 4 weeks. And this is our backyard greenhouse now, so it's actually two separate greenhouses. This one here is a 20 by 20, and then we have another 20 by 20 over here. You can see in the spacing where that ladder is, there's a 4-foot spacing in between them, and then the other 20 by 20 is behind us. So if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know we do a lot of gardening. So that's kind of what my time has been going to the last month or so. And I showed the inside the garage temp because I wanted to show you the temperature in the greenhouse right now. The temperature outside in the greenhouse right now is 58 degrees, which is the same temperature that's in the garage with a heater in it. And there's no heater in this. This is just temperature from the sun beating on it during the day right now. And the outside temp where I am right now is 33 degrees. So doing pretty good during the day, and this isn't even fully sealed yet. So we still have this section here that's like not even sealed down. It's all open yet. All of the bottoms are still open, not sealed yet. Those just go right to the ground. So we still have quite a bit of sealing yet to do, and then this back wall in between right now is just a single layer of plastic. It's not even the solar wrap stuff that we're using over here. This is called solar wrap, and it's actually a multi-layer insulated covering. This has a 1.7 R value for insulation, which is a lot better than a single sheet. So this is kind of what the backside looks like. There's one house and then the second house there. So we had to do two houses because the ordinance where we live says we can't have one big building, but we can have two smaller big buildings. So pretty dumb, but that's what we're left with. So that's pretty much that, but I just kind of wanted to share what I've been doing the last month or so, and now I'll get back to working on the cars. Alright, so we got the Vibrant Performance core here, and this is like a 20 by 18 by 4 inch core or something like that. Don't quote me on it. But I had a little bit of a problem with this. It was the first one I had was dinged up in shipping. So I did receive this already, and then I sent it back. They replaced it because it had a dent in it. I also do have these Vibrant end tanks. And these are pre-cut and bent, but they're not welded yet, so you could cut them or trim them or do whatever you needed to them. So they're not fully welded, probably a little cheaper because they're not fully welded already. My plan is to do something like this, weld these tanks on. I've never done intercooler core welding before, so that should be interesting. And then I did mock this up a little bit already, and I don't really feel like I have a good way to go down and under necessarily because of how the outlet is going to come out. If I go here, or if I go here, or if I go down, it'll be kind of at a weird angle. So what my plan is to go out the backside, you know, like a Honda rear exit intercooler. I think that should work out pretty well. I did also get these Monkey Fab pre-made inlet outlet bungs, so these are pretty cool. So I got these from Monkey Fab at Monkey Fab Garage. I'll put the link up for these. And they're actually a really good price too. I don't think it would even be worth it to like buy the material and make them yourself. They're cheap enough to just buy. So there, I use some tape to hold that on, and then I can come out the backside with this thing. And I should be able to really go like kind of right over to my intake. Intake is here. So that'll be pretty much a straight shot, darn near a straight shot right to the turbo there. And you're probably already thinking, well, how are you gonna do the radiator? Because the radiator is gonna be wider than the back of the intercooler, right? Well, not necessarily. So this radiator here is like the 1967 Ford Mustang radiator. Does have a fan on the backside with inlet and outlet on opposite ends. So that's the plan there. The radiator is going to be about this wide, so that'll allow me enough room to have the pipes on the outside of the radiator. Inlet and outlet is on opposite sides, so I'll be able to go in one side of the engine, out the other side of the engine without too much hose trickery. And I did run that radiator on my yellow Mustang, and that one did okay street driving, so that should do okay with this with a 6-cylinder, because I had a turbo V8 on that one, and that one did okay street driving, like as long as I was still moving. I didn't do a lot of like sitting in traffic with it, so can't really tell how it performed there, but I think with a good fan on a 6-cylinder, it should be good enough. So let's get jamming on this. And just another thing to add would be the grill positioning. So I wanted to keep the intercooler high enough that I have direct airflow from the grill, and I don't have to push the thing down a whole lot and cut out a bunch of this here. So if I wanted to line this flat end up down here, run the piping down here, I'd have to cut out a bunch of the front, and then I'd be blocking a lot of the flow. So I'm able to keep it high enough. Going out the back, I'm able to keep it high enough where I'm not interfering with the headlight. I don't have to go so low here that the flow is blocked to the intercooler. And then my only limitation for how high I need to put it is really the pin that comes out of the hood. So I'll be able to run the intercooler up as high as I need to, as long as it's not interfering with the pin. So what I'll probably start with is figuring out what I need to cut out on the back side, because I am going to have to cut out a little bit of the back here to run the intercooler piping back. So let's do that. I might be able to just kind of follow this angle. Cut there, back here, follow this angle, and then cut back in, because then I can keep the bolts that are holding it together to the top, the hole for the cable, the holes that secure it down on the bottom, but just remove the section that I need to run the pipe. Okay, so I got the intercooler all done and mocked up in position. I did cut the rear section, so that'll fit. Like around here, I might take this curve and then come up a little bit higher just to make a little bit more room. But for now, what I think I'm going to do is start to mock up the radiator where that needs to be. So I got quite a bit of room from the front of the water pump to the intercooler, so I should be able to fit that in there. I've got to figure out if I'm going to cut this section or cut out some more of that bottom section. I did already cut out some of this to make room for the balancer to slide the engine in and out, so I could probably just trim a little more off that. So we'll see how that ends up. Okay, well, it's all mocked up. I think this is about all I'm going to get to today. And first time I've ever built an intercooler using just a core and some end tanks, so got that under my belt now. So I did kind of just take this top section here and notch it out for the cap. And everything's just mocked up on some jack stands and boxes right now, but we do have enough clearance all the way around everything. We got a couple inches from the balancer, and then water pump has some spacing there. I will have a little bit more room when I get this nut off of there. I just chopped this off with a Sawzall because I couldn't get it off, so once I get that off, that'll free up even more space there. This section here doesn't line up exactly, but I could probably do, you know, an AN here or a 90 off of there. I could even cut this and angle it a little bit, so there's a lot of options. But overall it all fits. All fits pretty well. Starting to come together. I did go ahead and cut off the major part of the lower end of the core support there, so I'm going to have to reinforce that. So what I'll probably do is weld a plate in here and then go underneath the radiator with something. And then I'll be able to mount the radiator to that. But that's it for this one. We did get some snow today, so I'm probably going to get this video up and then take the rest of the day and go sledding. Have fun.